Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Paul. This is Wristwatch Addiction, my dumb little channel. And today we're going to be taking a first look at another sort of small brand, micro brand of sorts. This one, the Hawaiian Lifeguard watch company. Hawaiian Lifeguards, greatly valued in my book, and anyone who's ever done a triathlon, ever swam in Hawaii, surfed in Hawaii. These guys are invaluable. They do a tireless job, and this watch pays tribute to them, gives a small proceeds to their association. I couldn't thank them more. Beautiful, beautiful dial on this Hawaiian Lifeguard watch. I actually even like the Hawaiian Lifeguard logo that is on this watch. This you can see is a quartz piece, as you can see the tick. Beautiful polish and satin finish around this case. This dive watch comes in at, I believe, 40 millimeters. Once again, the Hawaiian Lifeguard watch logo on the back, engraved on this screw down case back. This is a screw down case back for water resistance, as well as a screw down crown, guys. So you've already got that. You have quick release spring bars on this fantastic and incredibly comfortable rubber strap with solid end keeper and adjustable keeper, engraved and a logoed buckle. Beautiful dial with this flat sapphire crystal, keeping reflectivity down to somewhat of a minimum. On the wrist, fits very, very well on my 6 3/4 wrist, guys. Does sit up kind of high, although it is a dive watch, and that is pretty standard for dive watches. If we unscrew this crown, we can see how the setting goes. First position, second position. Second position for time set. You can see not the quickest time set, but not painfully slow either. I love the minute hand being bright orange. Click back in. Do the date set. Very crisp date set. Squared in the date window. Date window surrounded by Loom. Screw down the clasp, or I'm sorry, the crown once again. Those of you that have ever dived know why the bright minute hand. We'll get into that a little more later, but I think that's an extra feature that is just perfect on this watch. Removing this quick release strap. Again, I think it's criminal that all straps do not come with quick releases. They are so easy, so functional. I wanted to show you this case. This is a well done case. This is how that all micro brands, all small brands should be producing their watches. Spare no expense, create quality, people will buy it. I love this one. And speaking of buying watches, let's pop on their website. Time is everything. Hawaiian Lifeguard Association logo that was on the back of the case back, of course. Beautiful in yellow. I really, really like the yellow. A description of aloha, what it actually means. I think that the throwback to the Hawaiian culture, the throwback to Hawaii lifeguarding lifestyle that this watch exudes is incredibly cool. This is a piece that was sent to me by Wrist Gaming. I'll put his Instagram link below. I purchased a couple of watch cases from him. He sent me this watch out for review. I will be purchasing one of these watches myself. I want you guys in the comments below, help me pick a color here in a moment when we look at these colors. I will be purchasing one due to the fact that proceeds from this watch, as you can see here, goes toward the Hawaiian Lifeguard Association. A great cause for some great people. These people value the lives of tourists, value the lives of locals. They dedicate their life and their safety to keep all of us that visit the islands and live on the islands safe. And as a former triathlete who always had the dream of making it to the Kona competition, the World Championship of Ironman, I appreciate everything they do and would love to help them out with purchasing one of these timepieces. It helps me out too because I think it's actually a great timepiece. 42 millimeters, not 40 that I said before. 316 brushed stainless steel, unidirectional rotating bezel, screw down locking crown, thick loom. We're going to get to that loom. We do have a Japanese quartz movement, but it is extremely accurate, guys. Quartz, you can't replicate the accuracy. It's just the best there is. Now, I've already said I'm going to be picking one of these up. Here's where you can help me. The one we just are looking at, this PVD black, this black dialed polished bezel with yellow strap. I actually really like that. Do we go with a white dial polished bezel, black strap? There's also a beautiful blue polished bezel, black strap. And then we have this yellow, completely black with yellow dial. Looks really, really good. If you like yellow, guys, there's also the yellow with the polished bezel strap. All of these are basically the same watch, red with black dial. Let me know in the comments below, which one do I do? The white dial with the red strap or the PVD black dial with red strap? Let me know. I'm going to pick one up, give it a full review after using it quite a while. But back to the watch itself, back to the Hawaiian Lifeguard Association, back to the Hawaiian Lifeguard watch. They do give proceeds to the Lifeguard Association. They feature certain lifeguards. Here are two on their website. Go check out their website. I'll link it below. They talk about how critical time is, how the emergency response works. They talk about the use of jet skis within their rescue operation. Something interesting about this watch, and something I will do when I own my own, is I will wear it on the right hand. The reason they wear it on their right hand is so that they can use their right hand to swim, their left hand to grip the victim, so they don't scratch or scar or bruise the victim with their watch. Super interesting detail that I never would have known had I not popped on this site. I find that really fascinating. You can see they do a write-up of that right here. I'm sure there's tons of little idiosyncrasies that go into lifeguarding in Hawaii that are different than lifeguarding at a lake, lifeguarding at a pool. I've had my hand in both. I can't imagine a massive undertaking that is lifeguarding in an ocean. But back to the watch, I've put these little cheap spring bars on here for a quick temporary checkout of the watch on a NATO. I love everything on NATOs, guys. This one is a 20 millimeter NATO, not a 22. This is a 22 millimeter lug-to-lug watch. But I wanted to see what this coloration looked like on this timepiece. I think the orange and blue actually looks pretty fantastic on this timepiece. I think this timepiece looks fantastic on a NATO. You can see the gap there. Kind of reminds me of the first Bond movie where the Rolex that James Bond was wearing didn't quite fit the strap that was on it. But I digress. You can see that spacing, but really I just wanted you guys to see how good this looks on a NATO. As with most all dive watches, it looks fantastic. This watch has some heft. It is a weighty timepiece. Now, not overly heavy, but you do know it's on the wrist, something I like. I don't like timepieces that disappear on the wrist. I want to know it's there, but I don't want it to be cumbersome. I wore this under a suit, so it will actually fit under a suit cuff. Wore it for 9 hours under a suit cuff. It was very comfortable, had no problems. It has kept perfect time. I want you to hear that. No real play in the bezel. Let's listen again. 120 click, unidirectional bezel, beautiful click sound. The reason for that colored minute hand is to quickly call out the difference in the minute and the hour, because you're going to line that bezel up with the minute hand, and wherever that minute hand is how long you've been underwater. That is why for the colored minute hand. I think it's a fantastic call out. It's much safer, in my opinion. Not being a diver, I can't imagine, looking at my dive watch and having to think quickly. It's very overcast today, but I've taken it outside so you could see this beautiful dial. The low reflectivity of the dial, it didn't really tell me if it had any anti-reflectivity on this sapphire glass. I'm assuming it does because it's not crazy reflective, but I don't know if it's on the inner side, the outer side. You can see here two things. You can see that 22 millimeter lug width. You can also see that stack height. I'll do a full review of one once I actually get mine in, but I wanted to give you a first look at this watch, talk a little bit about the organization, talk a little bit about just Hawaii lifeguards in general and what they go through on a daily basis. I cannot imagine having to control thousands of miles of beach with current, with surf, with all the tourists and locals. Just insanely difficult job. So I really appreciate anyone or any organization that gives back. So I do appreciate that about this timepiece. Looking at the loom, I did say the date window was loomed, or the date window frame was loomed. It is. This is some of the best loom I have seen. I was out in an overcast day for literally 3 minutes, and this is the loom charge from that 3 minutes. I can only imagine sitting on a deck chair as a lifeguard and what kind of loom charge that would produce over the course of an 8-9 hour day on a beach. It's simply fantastic. Okay guys, lights back on, still on this NATO. I will get a 22 millimeter color coordinating NATO from Cheapest NATO Straps or Straps Co. to go with my Hawaiian Lifeguard Association watch. Once you guys help me pick the color, I want to know the dial. I want to know the rubber strap color because it also looks fantastic on this rubber strap. If I'm being critical, I wish it was an automatic for my personal use, but I understand why they went with a quartz. Quartz is more accurate. Quartz is more bulletproof. Quartz works better for someone sitting in one place for hours on end because you don't have to charge the watch via movement. So I get it. It's the better movement for lifeguards because they do sit for long periods of time. Thanks for watching. I will do a full review once you guys pick a color. Let me know in the comments. We'll see you next time.